2012 Olympics, the quarterfinals at the 2016 Olympics, and now he would be at the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Talk about Aruna Quadri, the #1 table tennis man in Africa. Yes, welcome. This is the arena. Let's talk about that big man, Aruna Quadri, and the big feat that he has achieved, a road to the Tokyo Olympics later this year. There's also the Super Eagles story we would be taking a look at right now. They are in camp in Austria and they are preparing for the Cameroon friendly game that will be going down later this weekend. We'll also be talking about the Euro 2020 competition that is expected to be going on later this month, and also the one involving the drama about Naomi Osaka. Yes, on the arena, lots and lots of things to talk about on the show today. Don't go anywhere. When we get back, the show starts in full. I'll be your host. My name is Jidechi Chidiezie. Welcome back. This is the arena. Yes, let's talk about those stories emanating from the world of sports today. Joining me on the show is none other than the football and tennis man himself, Joba Ogunwale. Joba, a pleasure having you once again in the studio with me.
Thank you, Jidechi, for having me. It's good to be back again to talk what we know best, sports.
What we know best. Let's talk about somebody who withdrew from something she did best. Talk about Naomi Osaka, the world #2, the female world #2. She withdrew from the French Open that is currently ongoing, and it had issues to do with mental health. Tell me about that one. What do you think as regards the withdrawal of Naomi Osaka?
Yeah, I think we need to let fans know how the drama played and started. First, before ROLAND GARROS commenced, Naomi Osaka released a statement that she would not be granting the mandatory post-match conference, citing, players have not been treated well, that their mental health and like the body governing tennis and the Grand Slams, they don't care about the players. They just want the players to go for the mandatory press conference and all that. And she said she's happy to pay the fine, because if you don't attend the post-match conference, you'll be fined. And she said she's happy to fine. It generates a lot of reactions. Some were for her, some were against her, and all that. So after her first match, she actually granted an on-court interview, very brief, but she did not grant the post-match conference. So the 4 Grand Slam, the Australian Open, the French Open, the Wimbledon, and the US Open, they released a statement that she has been fined, along with the French Open, that she has been fined, and if such behavior continues, she risks being expelled from
that Grand Slam.
Yeah, from the tournament, and it was creating more controversy, more reactions. Shockingly, the following day, she released a statement that she has been battling depression and all that, and she's withdrawing from the French Open just to take the attention of her, so that the focus can be on tennis. Now, what I feel is this: mental health and depression, it's something that should not be taken lightly. It's good that she has withdrew from the tournament. She needs to go back and take care of herself and get all the help she can. But I felt the way she went about it was wrong, because after she released her first statement, the French Open organizers reached out to her to discuss things with her, but she never responded, and that was the reason why the French Open and the other Grand Slams released a statement that she will be banned. She risks being expelled from the tournament. But looking at the way everything turns out, I feel what she has done is the right thing, to withdraw from the tournament and get all the help she can. But I felt that was the first thing she should have done, instead of saying, I'm not going to partake in the post-match conference. Because if they had allowed her to actually go on with her action, they are setting a dangerous precedent for other players for future tournaments.
But let me cut you there. What do we think at this point should be the way forward? Because that's what it's looking like. We'd have to review. She specifically fingered out journalists who ask weird questions during
Yeah,
the match and post-match conferences. What should be the way forward?
Yeah, it's, to be honest, I've seen some interviews, and I could say, okay, to be honest, she's right that the media sometimes are not logical with their questions and all that. But the truth is this: whether she likes it or not, I doubt if the mandatory post-match conference is going to go and going to be disbanded. Like, okay, maybe they will make it flexible. I doubt it. It is mandatory for a reason, and there's a lot of things at stake. Sponsors demand this. Then also, as an athlete, you should be able to answer some hard questions. So what I feel right now is that she said she's an introvert and all that, and this thing started when she beat Serena Williams at the US Open, 2018 US Open. So what I feel is this: I think she just needs to learn how to master, like she has to learn the art of granting interviews. You understand? I feel it is something you can't be a superstar and not learn how to grant. And tennis is so different from football. You know, in football, teams can delegate players that so they know players that are shy to grant interviews, so they'll probably just keep, you understand. But tennis, you're an individual, and she's one of the high profile name in the sport, so there's no way there's no way you would say you want to skip the sport post-match match conference. So I feel it's something which she really needs to master. But first of all, I think she needs to get all the help she can. And the 4 Grand Slams later released a statement that they are also willing to help. I just hope a compromise can be reached. But I don't see the mandatory post-match conference going away.
Joba's thoughts right there. Our hearts really go out to Naomi Osaka. We really do hope also that she can get all the help she needs right now as regards her mental health. Well, let's move on and talk about another big personality, talk about Aruna Quadri. And the good news about Aruna Quadri is the fact that Aruna has qualified for the Tokyo Olympic Games. It will be his 3rd Olympic Games. A good one for Nigeria, you would say.
Yeah. Legend of the game. I think I've been hearing his name probably since my teenage years. So yeah, he's a veteran, and he's still waxing stronger. The #1 man in Africa. So he qualified via his ranking. So it's a good thing. We are still not sure whether the Tokyo Olympics will go ahead or not. But right now it is looking like okay to go ahead, even though just 30% of the fans capacity will be allowed, and they are just local fans. But it's a good one for Nigeria. Actually, I'm not really expecting so much from us in the events, because normally if antecedents if you have to judge by antecedents, I think the Koreans, the Asian countries have always dominated this event. But it's a good one that we will have a representative at the Tokyo table tennis event of the Tokyo Olympic Games.
Well, it's good actually that we have a representative that's in the person of Aruna Quadri. Well, he's not the only one. The likes of Funke Oshunaike and some others would be representing Nigeria right there in Tokyo. Let me leave you with this quick video about Aruna Quadri from the 2018 Nigerian Open. See the magnificent works of that big man called Aruna Quadri.
Kissing each other. Quadri Aruna has done it again. He's defended his title. Sadly.
Big works by Aruna Quadri. Well, let's talk about some other things that would create maybe say fireworks when it goes down. Talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. They are right now in camp. 19 players we hear are currently in camp in Austria, and we will be taking on the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon in the we've seen how players have pulled out of that one, but a bulk of the team is still in camp with Genotro. The question right now is, do we get to see the regular players on the field when we play Cameroon, or we should at this point be getting to see the new faces in the team?
Well, preparations, as you said, preparations have been far from ideal for Genotro. But speaking, the team had their first training yesterday, and after the training session, Raul said the two games, because it's actually back-to-back. They're playing Cameroon twice in Austria. They'll play them on June 4th and they'll play them on June 8th. So he said it gives him the opportunity to try out new players, especially the likes of Terry Murphy, Abraham, Marcos, Valentine.
Was the one for
yeah. So I think those are the three new players in the squad. So I think it gives them the opportunity. It gives him the opportunity to try out these players, and also the players also to stake a claim, especially Murphy. I expect Murphy to lead the line in the absence of Victor Osimhen. But given some of these new players that he invited initially, or even withdrew, the likes of Simi. Simi is actually not a new player, but he hasn't been in the squad since 2018. Given some of them actually pulled out of the squad, I expect the regulars to still play. I think we could see one of Uzo or John Noble actually given time. Then I also expect Anayo Nwala, the two home-based players in the squad. I expect them to get more playing time this time around than what they got last time out.
Okay, quickly, let's go to Austria, where we heard the words of Genotro. Yes, he spoke after yesterday's first training section, the one that went down right there in Austria. Let's listen to Genotro quickly, and we come back and talk about the Super Eagles a little more.
Training over, done and dusted. How did it go, coach?
Yes, it was okay. We had 18 players this afternoon. Some of them were traveling in the night, so we were very careful. We don't want to have any injuries. We will be 20 only tomorrow, because still two other players will arrive, Onwachu and Ahmed Musa. So we will be 20, and we will try to have a good team with these 20 players. Cameroon has 26, and for the two games I hope no injury. The training session was okay, the conditions are good, good grass, good weather, not too hot, and I think we can prepare well here in Austria our friendlies against Cameroon.
And how would you rate this friendly match? Do you think it's good enough to keep the boys in good shape ahead of the qualifiers?
Okay, Joba, now we've heard what the coach said. How do you actually see this game panning out later this weekend when they take on Cameroon?
Yeah, the Cameroonians have their full squad, but we are lacking some of our regulars. So, and then there's this feeling of resentment in the squad. They have been like, okay, they are angry over unpaid salaries and all that. So I think the results is not the most important thing in this one. So I think the Cameroonians are well equipped to get the win in this one. But I'm actually interested to see some of the new players that are going to play on Friday.
Some of the new players that are going to play on Friday. Well, we have our eyes locked on that one, the one going down later this Friday between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon. A lot of stories have gone around as regards this one. The players saying some things. Well, I guess our own is to sit back and watch how that one would be panning out. And when the Super Eagles return, we would be talking about the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, the ones that will be going down later in the year. Let's go on a quick break, and when we return, we'll talk about some other things on the show today. Yes, the Euro 2020 competition is close by, and there are some stories involving that one. Welcome back. We are still locked on to the arena. Yes, we've been talking about all things sports right here on the show. Still in the studio with me is none other than Joba Ogunwale. Joba, a lot of stories flying around as regards the Euro 2020 tournament. And the big, well, say, if not the biggest media, once you talk about football, they have been flooding the entire space as concerns the England national team squad. And we see how Gareth Southgate has released names. Names are missing. Names are on that one. Tell me about that one. Is there anything that you would say surprised you about the England national team squad?
No, not really. We actually know the biggest media. They have the biggest media in the world. As in, they actually do their things differently. Because look at the reaction, look at the reports, the rumors of players that will make it, players that will make it. There was multiple stories on Trent Alexander-Arnold missing out and all that. But at the end of the day, I wasn't really too surprised with the squad. Gareth Southgate released 26-man squad. Trent Alexander-Arnold actually made the squad. 4 right backs. But the 4 right backs are actually versatile. They can play in multiple positions. Just two left backs. I think the only surprise that I will probably say, and I wouldn't really call it a surprise, is the fact that James Ward-Prowse was left out. But I think it has to do with the fact that they have 4 right backs, and it will have been difficult for James Ward-Prowse to actually break into the mid to that midfield, given if you look at the names that they have in that midfield. But it would have been an asset, especially from dead ball situation, because he's a brilliant free kick taker, and his delivery are quite good. But in Trent Alexander-Arnold also they have that, so I think that was what Gareth Southgate considered, that okay, he actually doesn't really need James Ward-Prowse. I think this Aston Villa guy, Oli Watkins, also would have been disappointed to miss. Jesse Lingard also, despite his fine form in the second half of the season, I think if you look at the wingers they have and the positions that he could play, it will have been unfair on other players if he had actually gone to the tournament.
So you're saying Southgate's selection of the squad was based on versatility?
Yeah, I would say number one, because that's actually one important point, especially when naming a squad for an international tournament. Because international tournaments, you actually don't have time to try out new things and all that. You have to pick players that are actually ready made. So I think he was spoiled with choices, so it was a difficult job for him. But I think he got this one spot on.
It's a spot on. Another one I would say really stole the spotlight yesterday, Italy's national team squad, and it was interesting the way they went about their unveiling. I mean, other people were just releasing pictures and videos on the internet, and Italy did a full-blown unveiling yesterday.
Yeah.
And let's talk about that one quickly. Names you would say really should have made the team, and the ones that possibly.
But for the Italian squad, for the Azzurri squad, there is actually not much surprise. Although I'm surprised Raspadori actually made it. He hasn't played for Italy before, but I'm surprised. But one name that should have made the squad, which I'm really surprised with in Mancini's decision, is Matteo Politano, the Napoli winger. I think he should have been picked ahead of Fernando Bernardeschi of Juventus. Probably because Bernardeschi has been a part of the team for some time. And that's one thing about international tournaments. You pick players that you actually trust to do the job. So I think that was the reason why Matteo Politano missed out from the squad. But aside from that, Jorginho and Emerson, they're actually back in the squad after missing out because of their Champions League run into the final. They actually missed the pre-tournament training camp they had last week. So I don't think there was any surprise there in Italy's squad except for Matteo Politano.
except Matteo Politano. Quite the interesting one. Our eyes are still locked on the stories emanating from the Euro 2020. Yeah, lots and lots of things happening as regards that one. It will be coming up later this June. And when it comes up, I guess that's the next big thing we would be watching. Yeah, remember the club football is over. And well, let's move on and talk about, some club football. There has been some movements here and there. The likes of Ancelotti have moved on from Everton to Real Madrid. Talk about Sergio Kun Aguero. He's also moved on and he's now plying his trade with the likes of Barcelona. David Alaba too. Lots and lots of personalities. Moving on, let's talk about Carlo Ancelotti first of all. He moved on from Everton to a club he succeeded so well at. Talk about Real Madrid.
Yeah, his sacking at Real Madrid was a shock in first place because but Real Madrid, they are actually a demanding club. So if you don't win anything in a season, you're gone. You saw that with Zinedine Zidane, even though he was the one who resigned, but you saw it in the open letter that he believed he does not have the trust of the club anymore. So that was why he decided to resign. But Ancelotti returning to Madrid, it was a news that came out of the blue, because at the point we were hearing rumors of Antonio Conte replacing Zinedine Zidane after he left Inter Milan. At the point it was Massimiliano Allegri who later went back to Juventus. But Ancelotti returned because his contract runs at Goodison Impact runs until 2024, 2025, I think. So it was a surprise, and Everton fans were disappointed with the decision to leave the club. But Ancelotti said it's actually a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If Real Madrid comes calling, you just have to accept the deal, accept it. But I'm looking forward to what he will do
the second time around
next season, because Real Madrid they have an aging squad, and there is not really too much quality in that squad. So I'm really looking, and with coronavirus affecting the finances of these clubs, I'm not really sure you will get enough money to spend on players. So I'm really looking forward to what it will do in the second spell as Real Madrid manager.
Quickly, before we talk about the players that have changed clubs, that have moved on to new things, let's talk about Juve. Juve, they also have a new manager. Not new per se, someone who has also been in charge, just like Ancelotti, Massimiliano Allegri back to Juventus. You also mentioned it.
Yeah. Allegri's situation also it's also similar to that of Ancelotti, because Allegri should not have been sacked in the first place. He won 5 Serie A titles with Juventus and led them to 2 Champions League finals. But it was still not good enough for Andrea Agnelli, who is Juve's chairman, probably because of the style of football and all that. They experimented with Maurizio Sarri. Then we saw how Andrea Pirlo struggled in his first year as a coach. You understand? They just managed to qualify for the Champions League on the last day, thanks to thanks to Napoli dropping points at home to Elias Verona. So I think they believe, and if you look at the markets right now, there's not really too much top coaches available. So they had to just swallow their pride and go back and bring in Massimiliano Allegri.
Okay, let's round off the show talking about the likes of Sergio Kun Aguero, who has moved on to Barcelona. Talk about Garcia, talk about David Alaba, who has also gone to Real Madrid. Players already making moves, and it's just the beginning of June.
Yeah, but most of the moves have actually been free transfers. Alaba moved to Real Madrid on free transfers. Sergio Aguero also moved to Real Madrid on free transfers. Liverpool agreed to a deal to sign Ibrahim Konate from RB Leipzig. So there have been some interesting moves, but expect more, especially after the Euros. You could see if we get to see some breakout stars at the Euros, I think we could actually see some more
transfers. Well, the Euros definitely would be one of the ones that would maybe lead on to more transfers later. You can see Barcelona gotten the likes of Gini Wijnaldum, Sergio Aguero, Eric Garcia from Manchester City, Memphis Depay also joining Barcelona. Lots and lots of moves for the Spanish Giants. Also, Real Madrid in the market doing their shopping already. Well, it's the period of shopping, player shopping, yes, and that's what the summer window is all about. There's more we will be talking about as the transfers go on, but for now, we have to call it a wrap on the show because we are out of time. Yes, we will definitely be back to talk some more sports right here on the Arena because, I mean, it's what we always do, yes, talking about the stories emanating from the world of sports. Until next time I come your way, well, before I say that, Joba, I would say it's been fun having you. I almost forgot you are still in the studio with me, but it's been fun. Let's do this some other time, shall we?
Thank you for having me also. Looking forward to coming back also.
Well, and you too, I didn't forget you who is watching the show from where you are. It's been a pleasure having you join us on the show today. My name is Jidechi Chidiezie. Until next time, ensure you stay safe.